This is an open invitation to all warriors, all comers, north, south, east and west, to participate in the first ever Baphomet Battle Royale at No Apologies, Jersey City, April the 5th. Be there.
Welcome, everybody, to the Armchair Bookers podcast. We talk about wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan. You name it, we're going to talk about it. We got the ref today, we got JK, we got Fridge, we got Stoney, and we got a special guest today, Mr. Chaser. How y'all guys doing today?
I'm happy to be back, gentlemen. I'm happy to be back.
Happy to be a part of this. Thank you all.
Yeah, ref lost the title and then just decided to...
I went full Lesnar on it. I apologize, but I'm back, and I have some shit to talk about.
Oh, boy. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
There was some crazy...
I'm going to get after it.
There was some crazy shit that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very nice week across, all brands in WWE at least. I know AEW has some big news that keeps dropping. They have their belt design just about where they want it to be, and it's going to be modeled after the North American Wrestling Championship, I believe. I have to find a picture of it. It's a pretty neat belt, definitely old school, big gold plates. I believe it's a 5-plate belt, which is nice to see. Again, WWE moved into the three plate belts. I don't really like that. I like that old school, lots of gold. But just my opinion. I hear rumors about a TV deal. I hear that they're playing their cards close to their chest, and
the vest is near the chest.
Well, they're keeping both. They're keeping a hand in each, on everything, because they're smart. They're keeping not their hands on their pocketbooks. That's definitely opened up and really they're showering some people. Anyway,
and they're probably going to sell they're probably going to sell the belt on ProWrestlingTees.com.
Oh, definitely all Pro Wrestling Tees, because not only do they sell AEW gear, they also sell Armchair Booker gear. So you can hit both. You can hit both important buys in one visit to ProWrestlingTees.com. Now, back to the point of AEW, they're also talking about Jim Ross, who has said, yes, he has been in talks with AEW. So, WWE did a great job over the past couple months of bringing in veteran talent from other promotions, veterans of WWE, Abyss, Shane Helms, bringing these guys back in and trying to solidify more of a wrestling input again, which is nice to see. And then AEW is kind of matching it for tit for tat a little bit with who they're bringing in, and it's neat. There is a blossoming, rivalry, and it's maybe moving quicker than even blossoming, because I know AEW is influencing WrestleMania, as we can see with Kofi and some other things, and I think we're going to see a change in another match, which we'll get to later. But that was the big news that I kind of saw right before I got on. WWE. It was a good week.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And real quick, before we get into Raw and SmackDown, I want to thank everyone for listening to our podcast. If you're a first-time listener, you can check us out on the Apple Podcast app, on Spotify, Google Play, and Podbean. And if you dig what you're hearing, check us out. Comment, subscribe, leave us a rating wherever you're listening. And like the ref was saying over here, we got some stuff over on ProWrestlingTees.com/armchairbookerspodcast. We're also on Facebook.
Tell them again.
ProWrestlingTees.com/armchairbookerspodcast. Fuck yeah. We're also on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We got a Twitter and a YouTube too, but really head over to Instagram. We got some big things going on there. We only do big things.
Always big things. Big things coming up as well. We have events to discuss. Are we going to drop all that now?
Talk about it.
What else we got here? We got Blackcraft, April 5th. We have the Bullet Club Block Party. The what? The Bullet Club Block Party. The what? The Bullet Club Block Party. I don't know why I did that. We have that on the 7th before WrestleMania. We have a 14-hour WrestleMania to look forward to. I cannot wait. It's going to be the second ever 2-day WrestleMania. So pumped for that. Definitely glad I'm not sitting in those seats. I'm going to be honest.
What's quicker to do? Watch WrestleMania or run the New York Marathon?
Run the marathon.
Probably
if you're good. If you're good.
I like that. You're basing it on skill level.
Right
Yeah,
now, if I had to
Me?
lace a pair of
No,
running
dude, it'd
shoes,
take me a week.
WrestleMania would finish a lot earlier.
Yeah, it would take me a week, but some other people can run it quicker.
There's someone out there. So let's get into it. Let's get into some WWE programming this week. What'd y'all think of Monday Night Raw this week?
I was a big fan. I thought there was a lot of good stories, a lot of development that was necessary and important, and it's taken good steps. And I think that they're not flooding each story on Raw because they can't, because there's 17 matches, so they have to give a little bit of time to each. But I think that's the best thing. That's the best thing that can happen right now, is to not flood some of these storylines, which is an interesting topic that maybe we'll get into later. Overbooking or good storytelling and the thin line between the two. Maybe that sounds like a good topic that we can discuss. What do you think there, guys?
Oh yeah, I think so. I'm into that.
All right, we'll put a pin in that. So some things we'll kind of move to the back of the show, so bear with us on that. But we're definitely going to cover the other big things that happened. So the intro for Raw, the first 10, 15 minutes with the Lesnar, Heyman, Seth, and McIntyre. Loved it, dude. I thought that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Kept McIntyre looking strong, too, because he got blindsided by Seth and made Seth look like a fucking beast.
Fuck yeah.
Pun intended. So that really, put it up another level for me. I hope we see them, get a little physical. Either get a little bit physical or don't at all. You know what I mean? Like, either have that nice big brawl or keep them away from each other and, have that final moment where they lock horns.
Hell yeah.
That's kind of I like that in storytelling, but we'll see what they do. They usually can't help themselves.
And the thing is, someone like McIntyre really needs to start getting wins. Fridge, you were saying it last time that, they're booking McIntyre like he's a really brutal guy, but doesn't win any matches. He took out Dean Ambrose here. He really just looked strong in this episode through and through. And this is what you need for this guy, man. You need this going into your biggest show, and you need this for like your heel side of WWE.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the Roman feud scares me because it's Roman and it's WrestleMania, and he's coming back from such an amazing battle, and I want him to win because he's won. I want him to keep winning behind him, but at the same time, McIntyre needs a win. He needs to win on a big stage, and I hope they find a way to get that win for him without sacrificing, the tough guy heel that he is. He's not a chicken shit heel. So do not go there. I'd rather him lose to Roman than the chicken shit heel tactic, personally.
Well, do you ever think Brock Lesnar is going to speak on a microphone again?
I fucking hope not.
Yeah, his backstage interviews are phenomenal. The taped stuff, terrific. But no.
And we haven't seen him and Rollins get into it or physical since Rollins took 6 F5s.
Yeah.
Well, and he's not scheduled to be back on a Raw until DC, I think the week before WrestleMania, the go home Raw. So do you think they'll get physical on that day?
I think, yeah, because like I said, they need to see, well, Seth, for one, you know what? I hope they do, because we need to see that Seth is a credible opponent. Like, we all know that he is. And we all know that he's better for WWE. But at the same point, in terms of storytelling, he took 6 F5s. And he stepped into a ring with a chair in his hands. Brock didn't have either of those. He just beat the shit out of him. So, like, to see Seth go toe-to-toe with him and find a way to get Brock retreating, and that look on Brock's face where he's like, holy shit, it's real now. That's what we have to see, to really push this into, oh, man, that's awesome. Because it's a Brock Lesnar match, and if you can tell if he doesn't care. I hope he will, because Seth is amazing.
I think he's gonna give a shit. It's
I
Seth
hope so.
Rollins.
I mean, I have seen most of his matches besides the Dean match, and they have been. He has looked like he's been putting things into it, especially the AJ, the Finn match. The guys that he's kind of handpicked to work with. You could tell, Daniel Bryan, there's good chemistry, even though he's so gigantic. You can tell when he doesn't give a shit. I don't think he could not give a shit against Seth.
I want to bring it back to Drew for a second. Did you hear the fucking promo he cut against Reigns before his match? God damn. It was brutal. It was good. It was like he drove people to want to see the match at WrestleMania. You know, he did bring up Roman's condition. He brought up that kind of thing, but it wasn't, in my opinion, like a tasteless way like they did with Dean Ambrose. I felt like they were really using it as like a cheap plug, cheap pop. Maybe they're doing that now, but I think Drew McIntyre is the guy who can get away with it. I think Drew McIntyre had so much other fire in that promo, so much heat and resentment against the fans, and so much like, look, I'm a brutal killer, and I want you at WrestleMania. So he just tagged it with that, but I think it was just what the match needed against Roman. So, yeah, I'm interested to see that.
I didn't like that anybody brings up the leukemia stuff, but if they're going to keep doing it, you know, Drew did it and it was powerful. You know, he's a brute, man. He looks like $1 million. He's talking great. He needs this win. I think he deserves the win. Nothing against Roman, but, you know, this is something that I know the feel-good story about it, but we had that already. We had the feel-good moment. He's back. The Shield was back. Blah, blah, blah. Not taking anything away, again, of what Roman went through. But let's get back into the story of WWE. It could benefit McIntyre to win if they move over to Seth for main event run. Whether he takes the belt off of Seth right away, that's neither here nor there. But he should beat Roman and go up against Seth next.
Absolutely. Real talk. I got to talk about something real quick here, too. Because we're coming off Raw. This is a good thing we're talking about with McIntyre and Roman and all that. And then we got Kurt Angle coming out, wrestling Chad Gable. But before that, what did he say? My retirement match, the thing y'all motherfuckers are going to remember me for the last thing doing? Bring out Baron Corbin, baby. I'm glad it's on a Sunday, because he ain't working at Fridays that day in that fucking vest.
Kurt Angle couldn't even deliver that with any sort of energy. He's like, and I have picked for my final opponent, Baron Corbin. Like, he was so disinterested. I hear that he really had no say, and that's so disappointing to me. You know, he said he wanted to go up against somebody that he has some history with, and they went way in a different direction, man. Terrible decision.
It
really
has
upsetting.
to be a swerve.
But it wasn't planned on being it. That wasn't the plan. I've read the most recent one is that it is going to swerve out, but I've heard from several people, like I've read several different coverages that said it wasn't a swerve. That is terrifying to me that they thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, whoever thought that was a good idea, that was absolutely terrible.
I'm very concerned with.
Yeah, like I just don't get where they see that coming from, even storyline perspective. Like, there's no good story to tell there.
Does Vince just not like Fridays?
Or he lets him a lot. He's giving them free publicity. You know what I mean?
Kurt Angle was a little bit winded after the first match that he had on Raw, or the match that he had on Raw. Do you think he could keep up with Corbin at WrestleMania?
No chance.
Absolutely
That's my biggest gripe beyond the story. Oh, the entire match is my biggest gripe. But if we get over that and look at what kind of match we could expect, it's going to be garbage. Chad Gable had to carry Kurt Angle. No offense to Kurt, that's fine. You're allowed to have to be carried now. Chad Gable carried him. Apollo Crews carried him. Baron Corbin has to be carried, and even when he's being carried, he still looks like dog shit. I mean, he's the only person that had a bad match that made AJ look like he had a bad match. I mean, it's just an impossible thing to get him to a level of any interest. He has X-Pac heat. Just go away. We don't like you. Like, literally don't like you.
I'm just mad that we've gotten to this point. Like, I've just been so mad. You know, what's crazy is if you go back and you look at Kurt Angle's last independent match before he signed before WWE, he looked like $1 million. But you know what happened? They shelved him for 8 months before they gave him a match. You can't shelf a 15. You can't shelf a 50-year-old for 8 months. His body's gonna fall out of ring shape and it's never gonna go back in. Once you reach that age, like, if you're in ring shape, you gotta keep wrestling to stay in ring shape because you can't fall back into it. And that's what happened. They iced Kurt, and now he looks like a shamble of what he once was. And Ref is absolutely right. They're gonna give him an opponent that usually needs a little bit of carrying. I think Corbin's gotten a lot better, but he's not gonna be able to carry Angle through his last match. You needed a superstar. You needed a legit superstar. You needed a workhorse. Fuck, I think you could have had Gable at Mania and it would have been fantastic. I think he's only got two choices. One, Cena, because Cena will know how to put on the show, or Shelton Benjamin.
But the Shelton Benjamin thing doesn't make any sense.
Team Angle, one last ride.
But you're not going to connect them for years. And then all of a sudden you're going to pull that card?
But you can shoehorn it in a man's last match.
Sure. Okay. That's fine. I would take that. I'd love to see John Cena just because I didn't think of it. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, well, what about Cena? Because it was the first, that whole thing. Okay. I'm into that. But him versus Shelton Benjamin would actually be an amazing match. Shelton's still in amazing ring shape. We've been seeing that. We've seen that for a while. And just Shelton's never gotten his comeuppance. So that would be a really cool match and a way to build him as a star in 2019.
You're supposed to lose your retirement match, and like that's a way, like that's a give back, What?
No, that was an amazing transition back in.
Well, I thought we were going to cut that part out.
You throw that word retirement out. He said farewell match. He hasn't said retirement match. So
Didn't they say retirement?
Everything has been booked from what I remember as a farewell match, right? So
Well, that changes it up
maybe
a little
something
bit.
changes in the future when, of course, they all come back for money eventually. What if it's a swerve where it's a squash on Baron Corbin? Or you bring up Team Angle. What if Charlie Haas comes back and makes an appearance and Team Angle helps out for the win? They could always throw something like that in there to have that happy farewell.
That'd be sick. Or even if he's not around Charlie Haas, you bring back Team Angle, but you get Chad Gable and Jason Jordan back if Jason Jordan is in ring shape, and you debut them back at WrestleMania, and you make him go on a fucking tear the rest of the year.
The son has to say goodbye to his dad.
But apparently in interviews, he's like, I got 5 kids. And Jason Jordan's like, what about me? God damn. That'd be crazy.
You gotta own the gimmick, man. You gotta own the gimmick.
Oh, real quick. Sasha Banks and Natalya had a match. What did you guys think of Ronda Rousey going crazy on the security guards?
I'm going to bring up. So it's getting. I don't want to see UFC. Look, if you want to blur into the real world a little bit, you don't have to You don't have to smash the business that we're watching. It's not. Doesn't feel. It's not. It doesn't make me want to boo you as a heel who's in the business. It makes me want to boo you as a person for shitting on what I like. It doesn't feel. It feels way too real. In this current age of storytelling, it feels too real for me to be interested in it. I really strongly don't like it. And the wrestling world right now is in a little bit of a negative light. I'm going to go into real world wrestling and talk about Kurt Angle's goddamn brother and just mention for a minute, a lot of these kids start as the mat wrestlers and they move up and they come into WWE. And to see somebody, so I saw it from a Scramble, a video that they shared. It's a wrestling gear company. So they shared the video and sent it over to me and was like, dude, what do you think? Obviously, it's really screwed up. You ended up taking a kid by his damn throat and threw him on the ground and just really went wildly over the line, inappropriate. And, that kind of stuff happens. And obviously to Ronda, I can't suspend my disbelief because I really don't like her. I think that she's, kind of, I don't know. She's over the top to a point that I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested anymore. And we're going to put a pin on that because I'm going to bring Ronda back into the whole perfect booking or overbooking. We're gonna mention her again in a few minutes. But what you guys think about Ronda and where it's going?
No, here's the thing. I thought it was really cool. I was really happy with it because I thought that this was the way you should be portraying Ronda without her coming in and saying shit's fake. Because when she put that armbar on Dana Brooke struggled like her arm was going off of her arm.
Dana Brooke is
crazy.
Hurt. Dana Brooke was announced that she's hurt. I don't know if that's story. I don't know if it's even her arm.
Neither do
but I was uncomfortable.
Right. Well, but that's exactly it. I'm okay with wrestling making you feel uncomfortable because that's what it's supposed to make you feel when you watch a match. In at least like a brutal match like that. All the stuff before time with Ronda saying, I don't care what the script says, your armbar is fake, all that kind of stuff is what makes this moment not mean as much. But I will say, Ronda Rousey beating up every referee and everybody coming out. I love that. Travis Brown hitting an arm on a referee. I loved that. I also loved how they made Ronda Rousey look like a little kid when Travis Brown picked her up and put her over the barricade. Cool. I thought it was awesome. I really liked it. And this is how you should have built it. You know, you didn't have to go and call the business fake when you were The Rock and Stone Cold. And
that's my problem with
Right.
it. That's my only problem with it. She keeps the 3 words that she ended up saying that were just really messed up, keeps those out, and we're good.
Right. And the thing is, like Mike Tyson, when he was with DX and going against Stone Cold and all that kind of stuff, they still had a shoving match. Mike Tyson's not a wrestler. We know that he's not really throwing punches at people, but
kill you.
you had something that was really visceral there. And then they did that this time with Ronda Rousey and Dana Brooke and Travis Brown. I thought it was a great segment. But I think now everyone's getting mad at Ronda because of the other shit that she said. So it's almost a moot point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not effective to me when she said some really messed up stuff about something I love. Maybe I'm too butthurt about it, but like it's just not something I want to hear from a wrestler that I like. No, just no.
She killed her own hype. She literally killed her own hype. As soon as she said, "I'm done playing these games. The business is fake. I really don't like Becky. Fuck Rebecca." I'm like, okay, great. Why are you still on TV? Why are you still holding the belt? There is no point to what you're saying because you've admitted it's all an illusion. So why are you still putting up with it?
By the way, if you go on WWE's YouTube channel and you look up the video of Batista talking about Triple H, I really got confused because
Give me what I want.
It looks like Taz. It fucking looks like Taz. Give me what I want.
Give me what I want.
It looks like
God
Taz.
damn it, you know what I want. Give me what I want.
I thought this was a really good conversation with Batista. You know, you could tell he's just kind of simmering. And he sounds like an entitled bastard. And I love it. I love it. Because I want to see Triple H kick his ass. I want to see Triple H just put the whooping on this guy. Oh, my God.
I want to see him come out at WrestleMania looking like Drox.
Oh, dude. Imagine if they had that happen. Imagine if the WWE department was like, you're coming out looking like Drax. Fuck yeah.
I think a couple weeks ago, Triple H should have made the reference to him disappearing or turning into dust. You thought you turned into dust in the Avengers? Watch what I'm going to do to you at WrestleMania. Something to that effect. But one can only wish.
I'm not a big fan of Batista. I'm a big fan of what he's doing right now. I know the standing on the aisle screaming, "Give me what I want" was maybe he said it a few too many times, but still, I like the intensity. I like that he's coming back. I liked when he attacked Ric Flair. I'm into it. He seems like kind of douchey and cocky, but he wanted this. Like, he asked to come back. He wanted to work a full road schedule. Like, he actually said in an interview, "I don't understand why they don't want me around. Like, I'm willing." I don't get it either, but it's good to see him back. And I like that they're giving him, Triple H always gets his match, but it's marquee for him. I love it.
And
He does look like Taz. I'm sorry.
Right?
Sorry to interrupt. He totally looks like Taz. It's like, whoa, the suplex machine. What's he doing on Raw?
Rumors he's going into the Hall. Maybe it is actually him.
Who, Taz?
Taz.
Oh, man.
Taz Tista.
I'd like to, Taz needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
He got hurt. He got hurt, and WWE didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah. No, I would love to see him.
Yeah. So, going back into some stuff with Raw, what was the other big thing that happened? Let me see.
The big thing. Let's talk about big things. You know what happened? Braun Strowman has issues with Saturday Night Live. Fuck me. Yeah. This motherfucker.
Hot off the presses.
No, this motherfucker. Last year.
Okay.
Was all the rage. This guy last year was basically going up against Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. He was in the main event scene. And then at WrestleMania, he went up to win the tag team titles with a 10-year-old fucking boy. And then
that was the beginning end for him, for me. But
I could even justify that as a one-off thing. Okay, fine, got it. But They cut the balls off this guy. They cut everything away from him, and now he's just like, I'm going to join the Andre Memorial Battle Royal. As if that fucking means something. Are you kidding me?
Well, what I've read is, and Mark Henry, it kind of followed up. I don't know if it's the same situation. I've heard that Braun was getting way too big for his britches. He wasn't really respecting the locker room. He was making a mess. Didn't really seem to care. Showing up when he needed to, leaving when he didn't want to. I mean, before everybody else would. Just breaking a lot of like locker room etiquette. And I did read a story on Wrestling Inc. that said, don't anticipate a little bit of a slide because it did get to that point. And I believe Mark Henry got called in to kind of give a speech to the locker room and tighten things up there. So he's kind of like the boss. So basically things fell apart after Roman left in terms of the locker room management. So that could be a part of it. They had to slow it down anyway. They boxed themselves into a corner when he couldn't lose, would always win, but always lose the big match. Never really progressed past that. And then he boxed themselves in with that heel turn that didn't make any damn sense. And they run him back to face. He's like Big Show version 2 right now. And it's getting dangerous, I think, with him. People want to love him.
Maybe that's why they never pulled the trigger on him, because Vince saw that's like, if I strap this guy, his ego is gonna fly through the fucking roof. Like he's not road hardened enough yet. He's not a full good brother yet.
Yeah, now let's remember he's even shorter in the business. He wasn't on NXT or anything. I know that he was training in the background. He came up green as shit.
Yeah.
So to put the belt on that young, like he's still a young man, all things considered, that's a lot in a very short amount of time. So maybe they saw something there. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't mind him sliding down. But the Andre the Giant Battle Royal is just literally back to his beginning. That's what he won and kind of brought him up more into the main light after Wyatt family was kind of in the background. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect.
It's Kane Strowman. That's his new name.
That's a great one. That's great. That's yeah.
And you could also go back to telling Braun to put the fucking mask on, because he did have a mask at one point too. So let's just
the sheep goat.
Yeah.
It was a sheep or a goat. I don't know.
Oh, it was a sheep. I also dug when he came in for the Wyatt family. I thought that was cool.
I was okay with that.
I'm a big Wyatt guy though, so
it didn't last long enough. Him with the Wyatt family did not last nearly long enough. When he started to be able to actually wrestle, he got taken out of it.
Oh, dude. Absolutely. I think we're going to touch on some SmackDown now. Oh, look at you. See, you got the shirts. You got all the shirts.
Dude, you got everything. That's amazing.
See, so basically, when we do this pod, Chase is pulling up all the shirts that he's got for all of the different topics we're going to cover. He's got us covered on that.
It's wildly impressive.
So we're going to talk a little bit about SmackDown. And I'm going to hold what I got to say about Kofi Kingston for later in our main topic. So we're going to get started here. Did you guys see Rey Mysterio with Dominic? It was cool to see Dominic grow from a boy into a man.
He's 2 Rey Mysterios. How the hell did that dude get so tall?
He turned Rey Mysterio into a baby.
Look at the video, like the picture, the still of Rey with Dominic in the ring. It literally is the same size difference now from Dominic down to Rey. It's wildly impressive. It's incredible.
I know that fathers always want their children to be taller than them, but goddamn,
he's 2 of them.
It's not even fair. And you know what Vince used to do? Vince used to make like announcers squat, like do a squat or a half split, so that they could seem smaller than some of their wrestlers when they did interviews. Really? That's crazy. And then think about that with Dominic. Dominic's fucking big. Do you remember him when they had the custody match?
He was a kid.
Jesus
so he
Christ.
Rey Mysterio and WWE, I believe, filed for a trademark, or maybe just Rey Mysterio, Prince Mysterio. So,
oh shit.
So, and don't forget that Rey Mysterio said that his son was going to train at all the big ones, Storm Academy. I forget the other one, but the big one was the Monster Factory in New Jersey.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
place. Great place.
Oh, dude, absolutely. We've had Charlie or Chaz Williams on the show from over there. Big shouts to them of the Monster Factory. They're doing some awesome stuff, especially with their partnership with Ring of Honor over there, if I could say it right. So yeah, that's so sick. Maybe we should go over there and pay Dominic a visit one of these days. I'd be into it, dude.
Word.
Miz had a promo that he cut on Shane. That's what I gotta say.
Holy shit.
Okay, I was like, where's he going with that?
Shit. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say, but goddamn, that promo that Miz cut, there was passion there. That man is genuinely angry, and I'm really excited to see what the hell happens at Mania between those two guys.
I think it's just a constant, just a constant thing that Miz needs to do is like, I need to get better. They're not, I don't want to say he's in the twilight of his career, but 10 plus years, you got to start thinking, you're having kids now. Maybe he's slowing down. He's like, you know what? If they're not going to put me on the main card, then I'm going to talk like I'm on the main card. And he's talking. When he's talking and cutting promos, you can hear the 10 years of experience finally molded, sharpened, ready to go. He is impressive. I think he's starting to challenge himself in the ring, and he's starting to break that criticism that Daniel Bryan had of him. But his mic skill, he's going to go down as one of the best talkers in the business.
Hell yeah.
I think he's up there with The Rock as far as like some of the best on the mic.
Oof.
I'm gonna put him up there.
I would
man,
agree with
the
you.
promos
Yeah.
that he's been cutting, like,
I don't know,
dude.
The Rock was in the
Those
stratosphere though of
listen,
talkers.
no, I get that. I'm not saying that The Rock is not in a league of his own, but Miz is up there. Like, he's really grown. Like you said, he's sharpened those skills in the last 10 years, 12 years. And like now you listen to these promos that he's cutting and damn.
2016, 2017, all the way to now, Miz's promos has been fire. He was good before, fine. But when they let him really cut into like some of the real life stuff, especially with like the Enzo promos that he was doing, when he was able to cut deep with like all of his title reigns, when he was going against Ziggler, really speaking of the fact that Ziggler hadn't really had much of a main title run, when he was able to speak to things like that, even when he spoke about like the way that he was treated behind the scenes, how he was kicked out of the locker room for X amount of time, like, dude, he built such a cult following for himself, and now we're starting to see, just in general over the last year or two, him really receive what he should. I've always seen him as a heel, as everybody has, but I think this was the program to really put him into the face place. Because he was a face at one point before and it was fine. But I think he can be a face that's not like a white meat baby face. I think he could be a baby face that's just, again, brutally honest. But more like, I'm going to fight with everything I have. Because those are the best kinds of stories.
I feel like we're not seeing a gimmick. I feel like we're seeing Mike. It feels very raw. It feels very real. And that's something that I feel we haven't seen from him in a very, very long time.
Becky Lynch and Charlotte had a thing.
Just a bunch of pushing, shoving, the normal between them two that we're seeing almost every week, whether it's on Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view, pushing, shoving, grabbing hair, throwing over a table. And Kevin Owens was the best part of that.
Kevin Owens is amazing since coming back.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what's great? His fucking stunner. Fuck y'all.
No, it's not. Fuck you, bro. Fuck you. That stunner is trash.
I'm with JK here. It's pretty freaking amazing.
No, it's not. It's not. It's literally not. It's the opposite. It's so slow and boring. And there's no pop and there's nothing. There's no like every time he does it, the crowd's like, yeah. Like it's just like when Stone Cold used it, the fucking stadium would erupt.
Yeah, but it wasn't because of the stunner. It was because of the character. You can't.
Totally.
No, it was the stunner.
It wasn't just the stunner.
Do you want KO to throw up his pinky? Because he can't throw up his middle finger and say "fuck you,"
Yeah.
So it's just a stunner, but it needs to end a match. It needs to be shown it's a finisher and not just a move.
Absolutely.
Here's the issue. It's just a move right now.
No, it finished Daniel Bryan.
No, the only one I've seen was that live event for St. Paddy's Day where he stunned Rowan and he actually like jumped up, caught Rowan, and came down. I was like, okay, that's great. We finally getting it. But show me more.
Oh,
Rowan,
man.
what a bust.
I don't think Rowan is a bust right now. I think this is the best thing to happen to him. I think the Bludgeon Brothers were great. It was a great concept. WWE just didn't know what to do with it. But I think like what Daniel Bryan's trying to do is he's trying to revitalize Rowan. So like I would pause the bust word because he's trying to change. He's literally trying to lift everybody up he touches, whether it be heel, face, or partner. And I think he's doing a great job with Rowan, trying to turn the page, being like he's an intellectual. He's the only one that I have conversation with that's worth value. And he has a iron claw slam. Like that's incredible.
Dude, absolutely. I also have to continue to give real ups to Rowan because every week he has more metal and shirts on. I love it. I'm totally into every band of the shirts he wears. When he came out with the Hailstorm shirt, I was fucking losing it. The Elevati shirt, fucking losing it. I'm always happy with these metal shirts that he's got put on. And more Rowan, please. More Rowan for that. And he had a creator shirt on this week. It's fucking amazing.
I'm into Rowan. Really into Rowan. He's always that background character, but in every other instance, it felt like he was more than just in the background. You know, he was third fiddle, even fourth once Braun Strowman came up. You know, so like to see him as the sidekick, you know, muscle man. This is like the environmental version of Diesel and HBK. You know, it's like it's like, you know, the good guy version of them, although they're heels. But it's a really neat dynamic that they have, and I like the way they're playing off of each other. And again, Daniel Bryan is so good in the heel role that the way he's talking about Rowan, you believe it, and you're like, yeah, I mean, Rowan is elevated because of Daniel Bryan. And the snooty attitude that he has. So I'm digging Rowan.
So what do you guys think about the Iconics getting a claim to the tag team championships?
The way the match ended is why I'm okay with it. Because that was a great way to pin Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks looked like she was just broken in half. Otherwise, I would be furious. Like, you know, what keeps happening to the Revival. Have they won a match since they got the championships? Or is that a different topic for a different night?
I think they won one.
Well, that's cool.
They've only had one title defense, right? They had multiple matches, but I think they've only had one title defense.
And they
that's the only
retained
one
it
that
at
they've
Fastlane,
Yeah, that's the only match that they've won. So anyway, going back to the like, if they happen in that type of fashion, yeah, I'd be furious. But like the pin was terrific. I'm okay with it.
I want to.
And the Iconics have not gotten enough shine. Sorry,
they haven't
nearly enough shine.
They haven't, and they are a really good team. The thing is, the part that they play kind of portrays them as not a super valiant team, but they're good. They are, and they're great with promos. They're great in like they're great with who the characters are supposed to portray are.
Yeah.
They're amazing on the mic. They have some in-ring work that they can work on. They're really attractive. I think they're great to see. And as far as who's going to be in that WrestleMania match, I don't think that Nia and her team belong there anymore.
No chance.
We kind of skimmed over the Raw with Beth Phoenix and Natalya. I'd rather them feud with Nia and Tamina on their own match, maybe even on the pre-show, and then have the Iconics face Team Boss Hug.
Well, I am hearing that it's going to be a multi-women tag team, which, you know, if over the next 2 weeks, Sasha and Bayley go down to NXT and a tag team there, you know, gets in their face and starts a rivalry. Otherwise, if it's a tag team match and we see Nia and Tamina, I don't care. they will immediately make me not care about the match. I have no interest in them. That's poor Tamina. She just never seems to catch a break in WWE. But Nia is I'm just not interested in her at all. I feel like she's dangerous. We've been over it a bunch of times. I don't just not into it. So it'll bring down the value for me.
And if you guys don't mind me asking, or your opinion here, regarding the women's division, while we're on top of that, SmackDown doesn't seem to have a direction right now in which they're going, even though they announced their fatal four-way or whatnot for next week. Asuka's being wasted right now, and they need to build something up there, especially with the chance of losing Becky or Charlotte.
Fridge?
Someone has the same idea as I do, and I've been talking about them for weeks. Chaser, to kind of fill you in on like what we've been talking about on the show. If you missed that episode, I think it was a few back. I basically said that the Raw Women's Division is held to the throat by Ronda Rousey because no one in that roster is up to snuff, and the only two people that are up to snuff are on SmackDown, which then leaves a power vacuum on SmackDown that they don't want to fill with Asuka, but they have no choice, but they don't believe her. So Ronda Rousey is effectively ruining both women's divisions.
Basically.
Asuka made Becky Lynch tap clean. And nothing's happened since. They should have just kept the title on Becky, have Charlotte win the Rumble, and then have the triple threat for uniting the women's championship.
Yeah.
In a weak division.
Dude, absolutely. And you know what? Chase? I'll even put that one further on you. I'll double down on that. I'd fucking say, if you're going to make it a triple threat, because I don't want to see a triple threat, I'd make it a four-way. Add Asuka in there. Fuck yeah. You know why? Because Asuka came to WWE. She was undefeated in NXT, came to the main roster, was undefeated, lost to Charlotte, and then got beat twice by fucking Carmella. And now they've done nothing with her. They gave her the title and then told her to go home and take a fucking break.
It's just so disappointing. And you know what? Asuka versus Ronda would be a bonkers physical match because Asuka has a lot of training, and by no means am I saying in a legit fight would it be a competition, but it would be very it would be very hard hitting, and you would really invest in the fact that these ladies are going in.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Asuka, I believe, does have some MMA background.
Yeah, no, but
she's probably the only one legitimately on the roster that could stand a chance.
Right,
that's what I'm saying.
absolutely.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They would have a match that you're like, whoa, they would go in. But
I'm surprised that wasn't her
worthy.
road. I'm surprised that wasn't the road for Ronda Rousey to go through Asuka and then basically
Charlotte.
be like, no one could beat me. And then you could do the Charlotte and Becky shit.
Charlotte's there. Both divisions were planned to run through her. Becky threw a giant monkey wrench in there for the first time ever. I'm going to say this. Thank you, Nia. But Becky threw another monkey wrench into it all. And it's almost Roman Reigns syndrome where they're going to try to shove Charlotte into everything until you buy into her. People are not booing because she's a good heel right now. They're booing because they don't want to see her right now.
Absolutely.
They're flooding the market. They're already calling her a future Hall of Famer. Dude, been in there less than a decade. I don't care what you've done in less than a decade. Stop that. Stop it.
I said
Owen
it
Hart's
last
not
week,
in.
though.
Stop it.
Charlotte is the safety net. Charlotte is the safety net in this match in case WWE gets cold feet on pulling the trigger on Becky, which I can't see a reason in the world why they would. But if that happens, Vince is going to be back there, gorilla position, calling it, saying, hey, we're going plan B, and the belt's going on Charlotte. I really hope that doesn't happen because it's not going to be good.
It'd be criminal. But you're not wrong. It scares me. It scares me because I think there's going to be another emotional win. We'll get to that later. But it worries me that Charlotte would be the swerve. Because it is possible.
Have you guys seen Becky's first match in NXT?
When she came out dancing like the Irish jig.
Yeah, it was horrible.
She almost was immediately like done. She came back from a lot, and she's an incredible talent. Like, if they don't run with her, they're missing out in big money, big market, really impressive. So
The problem is she's not one of Vince's favorites.
Yeah.
Vince has a handful of favorites that he loves to push to the moon. And now you have Kofi and you have Becky, who are so organically over. We haven't seen anything the likes of since Stone Cold and The Rock. And now Vince is pissed and doesn't know what to do. So he's putting himself in a situation, having Kofi run the gauntlet match, winning the whole fucking thing, and then throwing Daniel Bryan in at the end.
I'd like to imagine that Vince is not pissed. He's just like, okay, this is what the crowd wants, but I got to make sure it's what they want and not a flash in the pan. Because if it's a flash in the pan, I'm going to waste a lot of time and money getting them over. And if it doesn't pan out, that sucks. So he's
just not
like,
doing anything to get them over. That's the thing.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. They got to. He's just got to let it play out. That's why he's pushing these Kofi buttons as far as he can, because he's like, do you guys still care? Do you guys still care?
Is this really what you want?
Still care? Is this really what you want? You're still caring. We're almost at Mania. Don't lie to me and I'll give you what you want. And then Becky's the same way. They're like, let's dial it back. Let's make her not as vicious on the mic. Do you still care? Do you still want the man? I'm listening. Is that what
but Becky's been going longer than Kofi.
Very interesting. It's just an interesting thing. But yeah, Becky's been going longer. But again, Daniel Bryan isn't number one in Vince's eyes. Charlotte is number 1, 2, and probably 4 in Vince's eyes.
But Charlotte being number one is very easy to get to, because again, she's the daughter of a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
of the Hall of Famer. Let's put it that way. She's also very good. 2-time Hall of Famer. She's also very good in the ring, and she was having stuff built around her very well. Once she got into that heel role, she ended up having a skyrocket of a career. I think in her going up against Sasha Banks, and just all these different feuds that she's had. The thing is, like you said, Becky derailed it. But remember, Vince a while ago was heard to be saying, listen, you guys got to take risks like Becky Lynch is. She's the only one here since Cena who was taking risks. Like, apparently that was something that Vince had said based on the sheets, and that speaks a lot to his acumen for that. I'm going to save my thoughts on Kofi and Becky till a little bit later for our topic, though.
Charlotte's involved for money. It's a money match. I said it. Anybody was yelling at me. They're like, no, that's not money. It's money. Yes, it is. It's extra money in Vince's pocket. Charlotte is a name. This is a WrestleMania. You add names to matches.
But see, I disagree with that, because now it's just like the Twitter feud that blew up did not even involve Charlotte. Like, like Ronda and Becky made that match, and then Vince was like, and here's my favorite.
It was already planned, though. That was already planned to get Charlotte involved.
But it just shouldn't have been. It's become less organic and natural as time goes on, because now what they're trying to do is they're trying to close 2 Becky Lynch feuds at once. One, who's the queen of the women's division between her and Charlotte, and then 2, her beef with Ronda that all started at Survivor Series. They're trying to tie up 2 little stories in one match, and it could take away from the overall experience.
It totally will. Totally will. I think this was a terrible decision, but business standpoint, I get it. That's all I mean by it. I don't want to see it at all in terms of like a triple threat, not even a little bit.
I think I want to.
But it's money.
I think I want to leave the gauntlet till our main topic, because it really speaks more to what we're talking about. But in general, I think Raw and SmackDown this week were, pretty locked in. I think they were on message, and I think they were really kind of like a good focus towards WrestleMania.
Overall, again, there's certain stories that we need to see a little bit more of. Lashley and Finn, you make me care. Please, for the love of all things holy, make me care. Because I don't. I want to, because it's Finn. But man, how they keep ruining this guy every time. It's just, and Lashley, I want him to be good so badly, but it's just not working, and I don't understand why. Leo Rush is terrific. Thank God for him. But we need to see that fleshed out a little bit more. But overall, and a couple other things. But overall, definitely great stories.
This match of the week is sponsored by Balls Guarana. Do you remember Balls Guarana, the highly caffeinated premium soda in the unmistakable glass cobalt blue bottle? Balls Guarana has fueled the late nights for gamers, techies, and geeks for over 20 years. Balls is still available in the staple original flavor that some say tastes like an uber smooth cream soda. It's also available in 6 flavors: original, cherry, orange, ginger, root beer, and zero. Balls will offer listeners free shipping on their next order of balls when you visit balls.com to purchase. Use the code FueledByBalls at checkout to receive free shipping on your next order. Free shipping code expires on 12/19 and it's a one-time use only. Free shipping is only available to the U.S. domestic states. Free shipping does not apply to Canada, Alaska, or Hawaii at this time. Free shipping offer is available at balls.com. Thanks so much and enjoy the match of the week.
What's the match of the week this week, big boy?
And then, you want to talk about building up to a great story. You want to talk about, this is the WrestleMania, right? You want to talk emotion. You want to talk about being invested in a match. You don't have to know any backstory. These guys went all out, literal emotion pouring out their face. And we're talking Shawn Michaels retiring Ric Flair at WrestleMania, the number 120. One of them was awesome, but it was awesome. 20, I can't see your other hand. 5, 22, 3. I can't.
This is going so well.
I think it was 27.
John's cutting it.
I like how you rely on me for this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I see you put your head.
John.
No, I saw you put your head right down.
WrestleMania 24.
24.
Oh my God, that was a wee lad.
Oh wow.
WrestleMania 24. Holy cow, it's been that long. So yeah, that's what we want to see at WrestleManias. That's the match that we need to see. And who's going to reach that match? We want it every year. Very, very rare. I get that. But I'm curious. And where's AJ Styles going?
Imagine if AJ Styles was Kurt Angle's last match. I know he's not. And
Kurt wanted something along those lines.
It would have been crazy. But let's talk a little bit about Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, because both these guys have had storied careers.
Randy Orton. Sorry.
Randy Orton. They've both had such amazing careers. Ric Flair across so many territories, across so many companies. How many championships did he actually win? Not the 16. They say he won like 23 world championships, like something ludicrously high. Shawn Michaels obviously needs no explanation, especially not in the walls of WWE. He was one of those guys that really stuck true to WWE, and he always looked up to Ric Flair like a mentor. Mm-hmm. And even the build to this, man, was just like Shawn not wanting to have the match and Ric Flair begging him to put him out. And it was just like that last kick that basically shocked the whole arena when he's like, sorry, I love you, and kicked him square in the jaw.
Yeah.
That was like the smoking gun, man.
Dude, anybody that is a wrestling fan, you buy in there, dude. You get misty-eyed.
You do.
Some of us, I watched Ric Flair for a good amount of his career, but not all of it. The beginning years I wasn't around for. But, you talk about, he came out of retirement a couple times, but, that was the match it should have ended, of course. And that's the match everybody will remember as, Ric Flair's last match. And, man, it was a beautiful match. That's storytelling. That was amazing. And very worthy of match of the week, match of the month, match of all-time WrestleMania, short of Randy Savage and Snuka. But
it was just so well done, because it was in a time period where, it was such a beautiful story, that was told over months, back when they dedicated to long-term storytelling, where Vince was just one night, he's like, hey, man, why are you here? You're too old. The next time you lose, you're fired.
Yeah.
And then he went on a tear of whooping the roster for 2 or 3 months. And then Vince was like, fine, you got to fight Mr. WrestleMania, your best friend, at his favorite time of year, at the time where Shawn Michaels becomes the Heartbreak Kid again and becomes the showstopper. Can you beat the showstopper at WrestleMania? And he couldn't. And it's just, but it was a Cowboys last stand. And it was you can tell any any bit that he had left that night. He left in that ring.
Yeah. And we get to see Kurt Angle do the same thing against Baron Corbin.
I'm Doc Jones, reminding you that you can find the Armchair Bookers podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Podbean. If you pick up your favorite streaming device, go to the podcast store, type in the Armchair Bookers podcast. You're going to find us there. Nowhere else you're going to find us. You're going to find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Get some fabulous gear on ProWrestlingTees.com. Show that favorite stud or studette what they are with those beautiful t-shirts, or become an official booker by picking up the Armchair Bookers podcast t-shirt. This is Doc Jones signing off, and thank you.
I'm real excited to talk about our topic of the week this week, because this is something I've been talking about off pod a little bit. On pod, we're going to start speaking about it. It's basically, think about Becky, think about Kofi, and think about their trajectory in WWE right now. Is this the perfect storytelling by WWE, or is this overbooking by WWE, and is it taking away from both these people?
You guys go ahead. Hop on in there.
All right.
Let's hear it, baby. John, let's go, baby.
All
JK,
right.
let's rock and roll.
So, here we go. Mine is all about Kofi Kingston. All right. Let's start with Elimination Chamber, right? You got Kofi Kingston, who came out and had an opportunity that was given to him because of an unfortunate Mustafa Ali injury. I get that. The people were behind him harder than they've been behind anybody else recently outside of Becky Lynch. And what do? You do exactly what we think you're going to do. You put Kofi Kingston to the end, Daniel Bryan beats him. You could have heard a pin drop in the fucking place, right? Okay, fine. I can get behind that. Fine storytelling. Okay. Kofi seems deflated. The New Day comes out. People are saying, thank you, Kofi. Fine, I can get behind that. So you know they're going to go with the guy. At every fucking point that you give Kofi a goddamn microphone, he sounds so defeated and so sad. And his buddies are the ones that are hyping him up. His buddies are the ones that are like, Kofi deserves this. His buddies are the one that are like, hey, Vince, you're screwing him out of this. And Kofi's like, yeah, man, I mean, I've never complained about it, but like, I really want my opportunity. And Vince is like, okay, cool, fight 5 guys. Okay, you got me reinvested in this story. I'm totally into it. He beats those 5 guys. I was totally happy about it. And then Vince said, beat one more guy. And you knew that he wasn't going to beat him. And then it's just like, oh, I see what they're doing. They're building 2 more weeks worth of TV. I do not give a shit. I do not give a shit.
You know what's gonna happen?
I do not give a shit, Sam. I am.
Kofi's gonna find a way into this match. He's gonna win at WrestleMania, and then the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, Tuesday Night SmackDown after WrestleMania, Kofi is going to cut the greatest promo we've ever seen come out of that man's mouth.
He should have fucking done it yesterday. He should have fucking done it to state his case. What did he say? Oh, man, I've never been trick-or-treating with my kids. Look, I get it.
It's all part of the build. It's all part of the build.
Dude, if he doesn't come out and hit every person on the roster with a chair and an SOS this week, I'm going to be fucking livid.
Yo, I'm
already livid.
Into this story. You already are. I'm so into this story. I'm bouncing in my chair. I love it. Because you made every point I was going to make. They keep getting you to reinvest into it. They keep pulling you in. And you say you don't care until they have that emotional roller coaster next Tuesday, some form or fashion. Now, I love what they're doing. The one thing that I need to see, one thing, and they can do it. Will they? I hope they will. Kofi lash out. It's boiling. It's coming. Okay, I feel like it has to, because otherwise, what the hell? I will agree that if that doesn't happen, the storyline was awful. That's the linchpin for me.
If this motherfucker doesn't lash out, that's it.
Right now, perfect storytelling from my standpoint.
11 years. Kofi has been in WWE for 11 years. Fucking Xavier Woods was in TNA.
Did you watch the backstage exclusive part.
Yes, I did, and it was the same shit. Xavier
Exactly.
and fucking.
He's there to fight. He's there to earn his way. If he hasn't yet, he'll keep doing what he has to do to earn it. Classic good guy.
It's just a way to build. It's taking me out of the story how overbooked this fucking thing is.
Until next Tuesday.
I love how Vince just keeps like building storylines. I love how that ended with him getting punched in the face. Like this is the only way this can end. Like
Stone Cold style, dude.
Like he's got Kofi's got to be like, I've been Mr. Nice Guy, bop, and just drop him. And then Vince will be like, I've been waiting for you to do something like that. Here's your WrestleMania match. You're a star now.
You want it? You got it, you son of a bitch.
No holds barred.
I'm sorry, what happened at Fastlane? Kofi got destroyed by the Bar. In what world does Kofi lose to Sheamus, Cesaro, Rowan, Joe, and Orton? The story. No one wants to. Sorry, guys. I don't want to see Kofi as champion. None of my friends want to see Kofi as champion.
You need new friends.
The guy's a B-plus player in a world that he doesn't have a yes chant to get everybody excited and on ESPN, which is why Daniel Bryan became Daniel Bryan. Kofi Kingston is where he needs to be in a mid-card. Give him a mid-card title. Hell, they just gave R-Truth a mid-card title. Where does this guy say, face of the company, WWE champion? He just doesn't. I don't even think Daniel Bryan speaks that. But you know who does? AJ Styles.
Ooh, there was a lot of fire in that one. I could put the AJ Styles on there too. Oh man.
Here's my deal. If Jinder Mahal can get a 6-month WWE title reign, Kofi Kingston can get 3 months, 4 months,
and he's
5
losing
months.
to Ricochet on Raw.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Wrestling is ebb and flow. You're hot, then you're not. Look, Sheamus was a main eventer for 7+ years, and then they shoved him in the tag team division. Why can't we reverse it? It's like, you know what? Kofi had his shot, and then he got buried by a very boring Randy Orton all those years ago, and he's been waiting for his moment, and New Day made him a superstar.
I'm also going to put this out there real quick. Off pod, I was just like, okay, he won with 3 roll-ups in the gauntlet match. Okay, cool. I can at least admit to say, or 2 roll-ups and a DQ. I can at least admit to saying, okay, I get it. They're building the sympathy. Okay, I can admit fault on that. I got no problem with it. But you cannot tell me that after 11 years and getting fucked, you would not be madder about this. You can't justifiably say that. When Kofi Kingston and Big E were in the ring years ago, and Xavier Woods came out and was just like, we don't ask anymore, we take. And they were all 3 dudes that were on a rampage. That's what needs to fucking happen. That's what needed to happen after this. Like, Vince should have had Daniel Bryan out there, beat him, and then Vince should have come out and been like, ha ha ha, you're not to Mania. And then they should have put the whooping on him. And the New Day took out, like, the entire locker room. Like, they should go after Shane. I'll say that. They should go after Shane.
They need to test his resolve. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't have someone just blow up immediately. A champion doesn't blow up immediately. A champion doesn't lose focus.
You're right. I'm sorry. Maybe you should wait another fucking month or so. It's been 11 years.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't build the story of 11 years.
The pacing is all off. I will give you that. The pacing is all off. And I think running 2 gauntlet matches back to back is just honestly lazy storytelling.
I definitely think it's lazy storytelling.
But the crowd is staying behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Every night, it's Kofi chants. This is important. This is an underdog story. You know why he's an underdog? Because he is a B+ player. But do you know what happens to B+ players? Sometimes they step up to the plate and they swing as hard as they can and they hit one out of the park. Yeah. So that's what's happening. This is Kofi's 15 minutes, and it's well deserved. Because
I agree, it's well deserved.
He is a face. He's a role model with New Day. He's preaching positivity for the last 4 or 5 years.
He's fun.
Been doing it. He's fun. He's Mr. Royal Rumble. He's been a star in a different way, and it's finally getting recognized. And you know what? You can check back into a lot of times in wrestling history where new stars were born because the stars that were up and coming got hurt.
Yep.
Mustafa Ali getting injured.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali getting injured was just the perfect storm for Kofi Kingston.
Yep. And I think that you're right with the pacing, but I think again this was organic. This hit pause on any plan that they had with Daniel Bryan, and it flipped it. 2 gauntlet matches, that's overbooked a bit. But in terms of, again, the progression of the story, quicker than they wanted, but very well done. This is going to lead to Kofi exploding. It's the only way it's going to be able to go. This is a Stone Cold type of situation. Obviously, a different era. Obviously, I don't see Kofi rising to quite not even close to Stone Cold level. Nobody can. So there's no comparison. However, the storyline is very similar. And I said earlier, keep your hands off each other until the impact moment. Him doing it next Tuesday, or even after. I want a week of actual face-to-face from Daniel Bryan and Kofi. So next week, pop Kofi, please. So we'll see. I'm confident.
I agree with Ref. If you want Kofi to look like a champion to match what you guys are envisioning, he needs to get in the ring, drop Daniel Bryan, pick up his WWE title, hold it over his head, and point at the WrestleMania sign.
Yeah.
He needs to call his shot.
And boom. Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. That's going to happen.
What if it turns into Vince comes out? You have to face the New Day to go to WrestleMania, and if you beat them, they're done with WWE. There's a swerve for you. That's the way to get them on top. But Vince loves turning people heel, right? To get over. There's going to be a heel turn somewhere here.
I don't think it happens now. I think it happens down the line. If Kofi wins the championship, I think they use this to turn someone like Big E.
I don't see them breaking up. They are a cash cow. They make a ton of money for the company. They do a lot of stuff outside of WWE as a unit. Kofi, Xavier, and Big E said the next evolution is not us breaking up, but going into singles, but always being, it's the 3 of us, but moving into singles careers. Similar to what the Shield started to do once, Seth came back and was a face. You can have a singles career, but be part of a unit. And that's something I think WWE misses with any of their stable type of crews.
Kofi is the real Matt Hardy 2.0. He's okay in TNA and whatnot with the broken gimmick, but you turn it into Woken in WWE, it doesn't work, and they throw you right back with your champion or your brother to become tag team champions versus the Usos.
Oh man.
Sorry, that's just my thought. Kofi should be nowhere near the main event scene. I don't see him as a champion. I see him as a mid-carder.
I would then ask you what main event scene is on SmackDown.
Well, they destroyed Kevin Owens' return. That could have been something.
That could have been something, man. That could have
Kevin Owens, one of the most boring Universal title runs, second to Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I want to see him in my main event scene.
That's the problem, though.
There's been 4 people to hold that title. You can't say that.
Yes, well, I can.
That's the problem. Is the Universal title has been so poorly damaged, that it's anyone that holds it, it's kind of been a death nail for them. But okay, so we've been talking a lot about Kofi, right? We've been talking a lot about that. We all got our feelings on that, but the Becky Lynch storyline is very interesting because I could really say that it's been overbooked now, and I think we kind of touched on it. We're talking about Charlotte, talking about a lot of the ways that they're just trying to shoehorn her in there. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I really kind of have a vested interest in Becky and her story, and because of all the fire that she's been spitting. But I think that's my thing, is WWE sees someone like Becky Lynch and oh, keep doing that, keep running with it. I feel like with someone like Kofi, they had to go ahead and go, okay, we're going to create a storyline for him. We're going to create empathy for him. Whereas Becky Lynch, people are just organically getting behind her more and more every day. And I think WWE is catching fire with that.
It's very interesting because if you look at it, Charlotte and Becky are two polar opposites of the women's division. Becky is what we want the future of wrestling to be, and Charlotte is a step backwards. It's just shoehorned in your face. Like, yeah, great. You know what 2016 was? Sasha versus Charlotte. You know what 2017 was? Becky versus Charlotte. You know what 2018 was? Charlotte versus everybody, and no one could touch her after she beat Asuka at WrestleMania.
So let me ask you this then: Do you think that Becky Lynch and Charlotte is kind of like Cena Punk, where Cena is basically the corporate kind of vision, and Punk was the I'm not supposed to be here vision?
I honestly see Ric Flair and Dusty.
I can see that. I think it's
cool.
more. I would put it more in like they have faith in Becky. They didn't have faith in Punk. You know, like they know that Becky is going to do big things because she is. Punk, they were scared of him. They had no idea. They knew that if they lost him, they were going to be in some, not trouble, but they knew they had to hold on to him. They just didn't know why until he blew them up and they realized, oh shit, he's going to burn us down.
I think they kind of feel the same way about Becky, and that's why Charlotte is in this match.
Money, man. She adds money into the pockets.
Yeah, but listen, she could be in another match, drawing in just as much money for them. She doesn't need to be in this match.
Who?
That's all I'm saying.
Who would Charlotte fight that would beat money?
Asuka needs her redemption match.
Yeah,
they have no money, and money that they don't have any investment in Asuka. Clearly, so who?
Well, that's because they haven't been trying to tell a story. They could have been trying to tell a story with Asuka and Charlotte, but they haven't been because they've been too worried about Ronda and Becky and Charlotte when that doesn't need to be a thing.
And that's why this whole story wildly overbooked.
Yeah,
me,
this whole feud is way overbooked.
Story. Travis Brown is now involved.
Well, he was for about 10 seconds, and now he's banned from WWE.
But still, her husband is now involved. Got involved. Becky and Charlotte weren't there, and she went nuts like that. She's burned down the business with too much breaking of the rules. Becky and Charlotte are like they've muzzled Becky, so now Becky and Charlotte don't matter. The belt is not spoken of. It doesn't matter. It's all about Ronda, and that sucks. And it's all about Ronda, but it's still wildly overbooked. There's too much involvement. They try to have Becky and just Becky and Charlotte have a face-off on the Kevin Owens show. It's like, oh yeah, well, where's Ronda? And that stinks. And nobody gives a shit about where Charlotte is. So and nobody is buying into it. So it's overbooked and unnecessary, and it kind of sucks. It's taking a little bit of steam out of it all, and I don't want to see it as the main event anymore at all. I don't want to see it go on last.
Last year, when Asuka won the Royal Rumble, she went on SmackDown and said, I'm going to face you, Charlotte. And she appeared on both Raw and SmackDown. And we're not getting that here. We're getting Ronda going crazy, beating on nobodies and in their first ever championship matches, which is great for storyline, breaking her arm. Mm-hmm. But then you have Charlotte and Becky just keep going at it. And it's the same thing every week. We need Ronda on SmackDown or Becky and Charlotte switching off on Raw each and other week. They all don't need to be together to keep the storyline going. Keep it fresh. It's stale. It's overbooked.
Yeah,
totally.
Real talk. And that's the thing is like Ronda really does stay in her lane on Raw. Becky Lynch will go back and forth if necessary. And Charlotte was about to go over when they were like, oh, they're going to award me the women's championship, which she did. That was the only time you really saw her cross over. And the thing is, the feud between Becky and Charlotte is not strong enough to survive on the SmackDown atmosphere without thinking of Ronda Rousey. Like, it's always about, like you guys said. You guys said it perfectly. It's all about Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch and Charlotte. But it's Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. And
it's so involving. It's the glamour is all on the wrong person. It sucks so bad. Like, this is that Stone Cold moment. It could have all been there.
Like
bloodied, battered. and she still raises the belt, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to give one of these other podcasts, Solomonster, I got to give him credit because he was really able to point out like how the story's been overbooked. It was Becky versus Ronda Rousey. Then all these injuries happened. Then they suspend Becky. Then she has to say she's sorry. Then she's unsuspended. Then she's resuspended. Then Charlotte gets put into the match. Then the Royal Rumble doesn't fucking matter. You know, it's just so much goddamn stuff. You don't need all of this stuff.
Yeah. When you see it at the end result where it is now, you're like, wow, that is a lot of up and down pointless decisions that didn't lead anywhere and weren't necessary. When you stand back, it's really a rough story.
Yeah, I don't like, even for the purpose of storytelling, that they diminish the value of what winning the Royal Rumble is supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big fan of that at all. Even for the purpose of storytelling. I get what they're trying to do, making this whole thing work. But like, you preach the Royal Rumble to be one of the biggest events that holds so much clout as far as moving somebody into a WrestleMania title picture scene. Like, don't take away from what that's valued as then.
Totally, man. It's the Royal freaking Rumble. That's your shot.
Next, you're going to see Flair added to this match to be in Charlotte's corner. You're going to see Conor McGregor get his WWE payday and be added to Becky's corner. And, of course, Ronda's husband's going to be there. Anything for money, they're going to be in the crowd.
Motherfucker, if you just spoke that into reality.
Ooh, I'm going to get real weird.
It'll be like that WrestleMania where there was a McMahon in each corner.
Oh, terrible idea.
WrestleMania.
I'm going to go another step. They add Nia into the match. The Rock is in her corner.
Oh God!
And I got another thing to add on. This ends with Vince McMahon and Dana White fighting on top of the entrance ramp.
And the 3 is counted by Stephanie McMahon because she low blows Ronda Rousey.
And then they're gonna make a documentary on her, how she was the first person to pin, the first woman to do a 3 count in the main event of WrestleMania, which is the first women's pay-per-view, or the first women's main event in a WrestleMania.
You don't think a McMahon's going to get involved in this damn thing? Come on now.
Stop, ref.
I just don't want to go on last anymore.
And that's the thing, is like, these matches are all, they're all very natural built progressions, but you really muddy up the story, man. How many times do you see people not wrestling on TV and just having the vignettes speak for themselves? I know for me, I'd be more invested in this Kofi match if I wasn't watching him just be a sob story. I know I'd be more invested in him if I wasn't really like for example, if he won the Gauntlet match this week and then the next week was the go home promo, cool. And then you would just have this whole promo of what Kofi Kingston has done for like a week or two before time. Dude, all about that. Build Kofi Kingston from a different angle, but don't bury the guy by making the other two who are really, really good at promos do the promos for him. You have Ronda Rousey, then it's like Ronda Rousey basically doesn't need any sorts of storyline. I go in, I fuck shit up. Who am I going to fuck up next? And they've really overbooked that storyline, in my opinion. But the matches are going to be great. Like, regardless, the matches are going to be phenomenal. Like, let's not downplay everything. It's going to be really good when they get here.
There's some good matches on this card. Really, like, matches I want to see, regardless of how the story was developed. I am excited for a lot of this card. I am not excited to be up for that long because after 11, I start to drop off, gentlemen. So I don't know if I'm going to see anything after 11, which is probably like 7 matches.
I'm not excited for all those like multi-team and multi-man matches. Like, that's just
several.
too much. It's too much filler.
You talk about overbooking.
You're just throwing matches together now to take up time, and it's like you could make better matches and have better storytelling go on over the next couple of weeks that actually puts things in place for those matches and have them be, maybe a triple threat here or there. But like all these multi-team and multi-man matches, get out of here with that.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch. From what I'm reading, there's going to be a bunch.
WrestleMania 35 could shape up to be one of the longest, but one of the best WWE pay-per-views, or one of the best WrestleManias in recent history, I think. The multi-man matches are obviously just a way to get everybody on the show. The thing is, make them mean something. You know, again, don't have everyone thrown in here, have miniature stories, and then have it fucking go nowhere. You know, you talk about overbooking. Yeah, make these go somewhere, and then we'll be good. We'll be good. We won't bitch about it on this podcast.
Yeah, well, you know what it is too. We even said it last week. WrestleMania is kind of like where they hit that reset button. So at this point for them, it's that part of the game where it's like, hey, just throw whatever you can together to take up space because we're gonna reset everybody anyway.
I'm looking forward to the host of WrestleMania throwing herself in a title match versus Asuka. That's all.
Oh, you think that's gonna happen?
If Becky's going or Charlotte are going over to Raw, they need something on SmackDown for me to watch. So please bring Alexa Bliss back and make me happy.
I wouldn't be mad about that.
I'd be all about that. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing with her, keeping her on the Moment of Bliss segments, but I understand she's still recovering from injury. Yeah, she's still dealing with some concussion symptoms, as far as I understand. So they're being extra cautious with her, which I appreciate.
Yeah,
she's apparently. I mean, if you take her at her word, which I would hope she's telling the truth and not lying. She's really excited about the role that she's in because she said that she's getting to learn another side of the business and it's going to help her grow as a character, which is really cool to hear. So I understand it's like they're taking a step out of the ring where they, that's their passion. And just sitting and talking. She's enjoying it. She's pretty good at it. Weird segments, but, it's nice to see her on TV and doing something because she deserves it too. She was hot for a long time, man.
Yeah,
so,
some of those segments still go a little weird.
The segments are a little weird.
The one with Finn Balor.
It was weird. And the whole, like, her trying to be flirty, I'm not into that. But, yeah.
I'm into anytime Dozer shows up on TV, though.
You're bringing up her segments. I know a little bit off topic. Sorry, guys. EC3.
Oh, God.
Not seen.
No.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about EC3.
Ethan Carter the Turd?
It's just
EC not seen. Big facts.
Listen, how do you not have a place for this person? How do you not have a place for EC3? You know how? Because you took a name that was directly tied to the owner of another company and said, well, we can't use that, guys. We got to make it, what do they call it? The formula for success. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. But then make them win.
That would mean E equals C3.
That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. He's a good in-ring guy. He also looks like a fucking tank.
Man.
I mean,
what happens when you already have an oversaturated roster and you bring in guys like that?
That call-up was way too soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He should have developed into a champ down there. Speaking of NXT, if you want to segue out of, off the main topic, let's cover a little bit of what's going on in NXT leading up to TakeOver.
Talk about it.
Oh, I'm excited. So there was a fatal five-way on the most recent episode of NXT. Ciampa had to relinquish the belt to have neck surgery, out for a significant amount of time. He said on Twitter or Instagram, he felt like a piece of him died today. And that is just, there's no doubt in my mind he means that, and that sucks. So get well soon, Ciampa. Big fan of the show, so we appreciate that support. You have so Johnny Gargano was already qualified for the picked for the championship. So whoever won this match between Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, Ricochet. So long story short, we're going to see Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano at NXT. And then I'm just going to jump right over to the other match that just got announced: Pete Dunne versus Walter.
Fuck!
I'm in. Oh. That's not even selling. Talking about the other matches with like a fatal four-way between Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, and Bianca Belair. You talk about some interesting types of wrestling styles there. That's going to be amazing. Just some great action. TakeOver always goes out. I'm very excited to see this card. Pete Dunne and Walter. That's going to be a match of the week for the next.
Dunne drop the belt to Walter.
I don't want to talk about that, Steve. Stoney. I don't want to talk about that, Stoney. Why you gotta hurt me like that, man? We had a nice, positive episode.
So let's
I'm asking questions, bro. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, I'm not ready to think about that.
Y'all asking the real important questions? Because I'm gonna hit you with the real important question. Pete Dunne's chest is going to disintegrate and no longer be a chest. How's he going to handle that? How's he going to handle that when Walter hits him square in the fucking chest?
I mean, to be fair, if you break someone's fingers, they can't slap you in the chest.
If you break his fingers, he's still got a palm, baby.
I'm just saying, you ain't gonna want to throw slaps if you can't feel your fingers.
That'd be a good way to keep the belt.
He's got a pretty big forearm you could use too.
Dunn keeps it.
I hope Dunn keeps it.
He's so close to 2 years, but also like they love destroying hopes and dreams.
I want him. It will never happen. I want him with a San Martino run, dude.
Me too. You know what I want? I want him with that kind of run, and I want Survivor Series eventually to have the WWE Heavyweight Champion, the Universal Champion, the NXT Champion, and the UK Champion all on one fight, like a fatal four-way. And I want it I don't think Pete Dunne would win, but I think he would just come out there and everyone would be like, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. And he'd come out there, he'd be like, I've had this belt for 500 and something days. Suck it. And like legitimately be like, oh, I've gone to other promotions and I've defended this belt. I'll defend it against you fucks right here. He wouldn't be able to say fuck unless they go to another channel, but I think it would be really cool.
I would like to see the same thing, the Survivor Series match, but all the title holders for the main roster versus all the title holders for the NXT programs. Obviously for purposes of the main roster is supposed to be superior, but in terms of a wrestling fan, if we're talking dream scenario, that would be seriously fun.
Hell yeah.
That would be amazing, but that won't happen. I do love that. I think the next step for, just to go back a little bit to Sasha and Bailey, I think the next step is they go down to NXT. Well, no, they already had the tapings. I was going to say they go down to NXT, and an NXT women's tag team gets added into the multi-women match. That would help it at least. I think that would be cool because they did say they're going to defend across all brands, and they did show up down there and say that. So that would be pretty neat if that happened. I don't expect that to, but if they're going to add teams, that would be a neat thing for them to do.
I expect it to happen once or twice, but the thing is, you have Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, the Sky Pirates, who are already a tag team, but the thing is already wrapped up in the women's tag match on TakeOver. So I would be totally down to have them as part of that. My only thing is, with how brutal that match is going to be, do you really want them on WrestleMania, not fresh, not 100%, and really nursing some heavy damage from the night before?
They're not going to double book them like that.
I hope not.
Excuse me. And past all that, past all that, they don't deserve a spot on the main card at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? An NXT tag team, I'm sorry, that's a main roster experience.
Io Shirai deserves anything she fucking wants.
Not until she's up there, dude. Not until she's up there. That WrestleMania is the pinnacle. If you're in NXT and you reach that pinnacle, I don't think that's fair to some of the main event people who got kind of passed over.
I can get behind that.
That's all. And again, we're talking Io Shirai and Kairi Sane to us are big deals. They would show up on WrestleMania and you'd hear probably crickets. That's 100,000 people. That 90,000 people are probably like 40,000 people are business people that have been shuttled in. So I think you're not going to get a huge reaction for them at something like WrestleMania.
They'll probably show up in the women's Royal Rumble or Battle
something
Royale.
Like yeah. And that's fine. That's why I want to see some NXT people come up. As long as Ricochet and Aleister Black aren't in the Battle Royal, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't you fucking dare.
He'll be back from his honeymoon by that point.
During the tag team match, during the three-way tag team match for the Raw titles, it's the Revival, Gable and Rude, and Aleister Black and Ricochet. Mm-hmm. They deserve a spot on the main roster, the main card on WrestleMania, because they are they're the future. So,
but you need Aleister Black on SmackDown so he could be with his wife.
That's fine. He deserves to be on SmackDown. I mean, not deserve. He would be better placed on SmackDown. Same thing with Ricochet, but he's a big money draw on Raw. I put everybody on anybody I like. I put on SmackDown. To be honest, I just think it's a better run program.
Yeah,
it's absolutely my number one show, number 1 and 2. Raw is very low. Even NXT UK, 205 Live is hot, and then probably Raw. That's how disappointed I am in the stories over there, as a whole. The way the show runs, I should say it that way.
Over under 5 Elias showings at WrestleMania.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to say 3. I think yes, 3.
I'd copy
2 get
that.
interrupted.
I'd copy that.
Yeah.
I don't
2
know
get
how betting
interrupted.
rules work, but he's going to show up.
How many times do you think he's going to show up?
I think he's going to show up 2 times. Wait, hold on. It's WrestleMania. It's 5 hours long. I
It's
think
gonna be
they
like 6 or 7 times.
I think they tested the waters with him like popping up in like Fastlane multiple times. So they're like, oh wait, they like this shit. Okay, cool. We're gonna use that to break up boring times at WrestleMania. He's gonna be out there like
that's
6 or
exactly
7
what they'll do.
times.
And the Jersey crowd will allow him to roast them hard. And he'll do it. He'll do it.
Oh, he's going to.
He's going to be a
He's gonna roast the
babyface.
shit
He's
out of
going to
the
be
Jersey crowd.
If he
he's
says
gonna be a
anything
heel
about the
face.
Patriots, he's fucked.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dude, MetLife saying "Walk with Elias" will echo through time and space for years to come.
I might go out front when it happens, so I can see if I can hear it.
I just
from
want to see the
30
ref.
miles away I am.
I just want to see the ref standing outside of Jimmy's Seafoods. Because where are we going to be? Where are we going to be, guys?
Oh, we're gonna. I think it's a block party of some sort. Bullet Club block party, I believe.
Fuck yeah.
Are we gonna be on Podcast Row? I mean, but there's probably like hundreds of them.
I don't
Hundreds
know.
of
I heard there's a
podcasts.
couple.
There's 20, and we're one of them.
It's fucking crazy, man.
We're gonna cover everything. We're gonna get bit by Haku. We're gonna get our hands
No, we're
in
not.
time to time. Come on, man. Don't dash my dreams.
You have
But
weird
seriously,
dreams.
I do. I'm weird. But seriously, it's going to be quite an event. The whole book club's going to be there. Jay White with the IWJP championship. Like, yo, we're going to get to see that. This is a big event, and I'm very, very excited to go. We're going to cover everything, any interview that we can grab, any event that's going on. We're going
The Young
to.
Bucks just picked up the AAA Lucha Tag Champs too, so those belts are going to be there as well.
Well, no, they're not. They're Young
No?
Bucks. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
dude?
they're out of the Bullet
All
Club.
Elite Wrestling.
All
no?
right. Sorry, cut that, JK. Brain fart.
But everybody else is going to be there, and I'm just like, some of these guys were well, Haku at least, and then Tama Tonga I've watched forever. And then Tama Tonga, dude, I think he's the greatest. I really do. His bad boy gimmick, and then when he was a good guy, Tama Tonga, and he was saying no to do a splash into the corner. Just great characters. Some of the original guys. It's gonna be a great event. Very excited.
Hell yeah. I want to meet Jay White.
I want to meet Jay White. I want to meet all these guys.
My
The
wife
Bone
wants to
Soldier.
meet Jay White.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Owens.
Chase Owens.
Bad Luck Fale.
Bad Luck Fale.
Well,
We could sit here for a little bit, man. It's gonna be
a
cool.
scary man. Bad Luck Fale is a scary man.
He's
He's
fucking
not-
huge.
he's a little bit intimidating. Fuck him, he always says. I'm scared of that guy.
Yeah, a guy that comes out on TV and his catchphrase is "fuck him."
Yeah, with a big ass cigar in his mouth.
Is Tokyo
it's
Pimp going to be there?
It's gonna be an event. And that's Sunday. We're gonna have to reinvigorate ourselves on Saturday because Friday we have Blackcraft. We're
Oh,
going to see
dude.
Johnny. No apologies, Johnny Blackcraft. We're going to see Phoenix. We're going to see Pentagon. We're going to see studs, absolute studs all weekend.
Studs.
We're going to see the cream of the crop that's out there, short
Stallions.
of the all elite, some of the all elite guys. We're going to see them all weekend. We
We're-
got you.
We're going to see Soraya fucking Knight at that
Yeah,
show.
we're going to see Paige's mom, dude. This
And-
is so incredible.
And yeah, just so everybody realizes, Soraya Knight, Paige's mom, is the Blackcraft Women's Champion. You know how fucking
Yes,
crazy
yes.
that is?
Yeah, she is. She's wild. Follow her on Instagram. She is wild. I ended up unfollowing her because some of them were too weird for me, and I'm a weird cat.
That
I'm
scares
a
me.
weird dude.
That
yeah,
scares me.
man.
That frightens me, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back. She freaked me out a little bit now that I'm adjusted back into what I expected. I'll be back following her because she's a big fan of the show too. So,
As we all pick up our phones and fucking follow Soraya
I mean,
Knight.
you got to at a certain
you gotta.
point.
Some of the first three, I was like, whoa, nope.
Someone DM me the page because Fridge is lazy.
Oh my god. With
It was a
that,
damn
guys,
good time.
I think we're gonna cut it for the evening.
Pro wrestling tees. Don't forget to pick up your Guarana. Yo, balls. You guys are all going to need some balls for this WrestleMania show. For real. You're going to need that energy boosted up.
There we go. Okay,
No,
Daddy's
nothing does it
poor.
like balls.
I'm back.
We're just
Stony
wrapping up
420
there,
shirt is on the way. Don't forget
Stony
about that.
420.
Spoilers, Steve. Jesus, cut that shit out.
I gotta let him know. I gotta
The
let him know. I gotta
Bookersaurus?
start building the hype. I gotta start the storytelling.
There might be the Bookersaurus. He might make an appearance.
Stoney, you're going into business for yourself over here.
I mean, I am a walking business. What can I say?
Okay.
Okay,
But
all right.
you're not the champion. Unfortunately, none of us are. Doc Lesnar is.
What the fuck do you mean Doc Lesnar's the champion?
Isn't he?
No.
Oh, I wasn't
No,
here for the results show. Who's the champ?
I am.
I'm assuming Fridge yelling at me is probably him. As long as it's not
It's
JK.
after 11. Ref is delirious. He
Dude,
doesn't
I'm
know
done.
what's going on anymore.
I'm done. I'm out.
I'm offended. You're lucky
All
we're
right.
near the end. You're
I think
lucky
that
we're
we-
near the end.
I think we're past the end.
We're past
Pissed
the
off
end.
Josh.
All right,
Champ,
fine.
take us away.
I gotcha. We'll see you next week. Squaw!